For the approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved, probably second, that we are going to adhere to the agenda. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposers, nay? Okay, nobody abstain, all right, sounds good. Nobody for public comment, Viv?
No.
For public comment? Okay, you have the minutes there for your perusal. Let's give a few minutes so we can go over those.
I apologize, I didn't send those with the agenda. I normally do.
It was on there. What was I looking at? Something.
I don't know, I just thought I did. Maybe I thought them all the way to you.
There was an agenda attached.
Yeah, the agenda was there, but the minutes were not.
Not the
Minutes
minute.
weren't
Oh,
there,
I'm sorry, I
right.
wasn't listening. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Wow. I didn't know this group get that quiet.
You're reading. Okay, if you have completed the meeting, the reading of the minutes, may I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I so moved.
A second. Come properly moved in second. We accept the minutes from our last meeting. Back on July 17th, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposers? Nay? Nobody abstain. Okay, we're ready to move on then. Looks like it's gonna be a good meeting today. We're on down. Old business, Vivian, help us out.
The millage information, most of you already know, if you were not at the meeting, you've seen in the paper, that the police jury did roll the millage forward to 4.65 at their meeting, last week. Dr. Clark was there, Mr. Cree was there, Ms. Cooper was there. It was a very interesting meeting. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes.
But we did get forward to the 4.65 mils. And, that is hopefully going to let us break even this year.
But I'd like to add one thing, if you don't mind. Caleb,
Yes, ma'am.
is there a way for other board members to view that meeting?
I actually uploaded the videos from both the committee meetings and the regular session today.
Oh,
It
very good.
took longer than it usually does, but I got them up today. They're on our website for free.
Okay,
Oh, great.
all right, thank you so much, because my suggestion in my own head was to say, you didn't get a chance to hear that meeting, but I think it's very important that you go back
Mm-hmm.
and listen to what was said at the meeting.
RustinLeader.com/videos.
Pardon?
Okay.
RustinLeader.com/videos.
What is it again?
RustinLeader.com/videos.
Rustin Leader.
Just the meeting, or do you have the public hearing too?
The hearing was in there as well.
Okay, because we have some concerns, and I'm saying that persons who spoke at the meeting, someone wants to come in?
Yes.
Come on in.
After our meeting has started.
We
Well,
just
okay.
began.
Come on.
You're part of us, so we want you in here.
She's gonna be in your way.
I
again.
can move it. I can do a different angle. No big deal.
But the reason I made that comment, because there are some things that I think are very important for board members to know that came out of the meeting. And I'm talking about the persons who would have to speak up in favor of the library, or persons who spoke up not in favor of the library. And I made my notation that I'm thinking that maybe one of the good ideas that we need to further explore is to go back and get a history of this library. Because I'm thinking about the fact not only for the person who presented at the police jury, but going back and visiting with Nancy Spurgeon's comments, and I think I sent all of you an email to ask if you would go back and read that, because it will give you a focus of where we are, and it's also for what is gonna happen with us when we have the public to vote. The vote that's coming up,
Are you speaking specifically of this location or the history entirely?
period,
It's a good history.
period.
It is.
I always start out my comments when I remember when we didn't have one.
Well, I remember when I used to go to the old one over there.
I'm just wondering, could we request from Tech perhaps some student that would like a project from maybe the history department or some area, and they might focus a history of our library as they do a project for Tech? I think that would be.
Excellent
That'd be
idea,
great.
David, excellent idea.
It doesn't
Someone
have to
not
be Tech.
connected.
Could be Grand
Yeah.
Link, or they could work together. It
Okay.
doesn't really matter.
That's wonderful, because I'm gonna tell you, basically, after I started hearing from the report and reading, I came to the conclusion that maybe Augusta, you should not have made the suggestion or recommendation that we look at even expanding the library for what's out there. We didn't know what's out there. Everybody doesn't have a support of the library. I didn't know that. All of us sitting here are supporters of the library, but we have a lot of naysayers that are out there, and I think we need to be
Absolutely.
able to
People
hear
who've
that
never-
as well.
And people who've never been in here
No,
are the
absolutely.
naysayers. Never checked out a book, never, don't know anything about this library.
I think that's one good thing about having these forums where we're using the event center for the police jury and the sheriff, that people that would never come are going to come and see for a change. They don't have to get a book, they can just come in, you know, it's good. It's intimidating for some people, they don't feel comfortable.
Well, I'm just saying, basically, we need to go back, and thank you too, Caleb, for making that possible for us.
Sure.
That we can do that and get a chance to, what they say, come up to speed on. That's how they phrase of the paper, come up to speed on. And thank you too, Vivian, because I think the meeting at the police jury tonight on the millage was a very good one. It was not a cantankerous meeting on our part. We sat, we listened, we heard some things that we were not so concerned, were not so favorable for us, but that's a part of us being board members and representing the community. So we understand and we have to live with it. And from this point on, we will move on. Anybody else? I think Mary Jo, you were there. Dupree, you had something to say too? Mary?
I feel the same way you did. I feel like that we did, I was pleased with our police jury members supporting us.
Yes.
I thought that was a very positive.
Yes. Dupree?
I thought that was a very positive, thing that,
Casey.
Casey?
Casey had, got up and spoke so highly of this library. I thought that was wonderful, because after hearing the other gentleman speak, I was so angry. I was so angry. Ooh. But then again, when I sit back and I think back, as far as, for instance, the bookmobile.
Yeah.
I had so many fun memories.
Yeah.
And it made me want to read even more, just to sit on that bookmobile and read a book.
Well, hold your point, because
Okay.
book will be on the
Okay,
agenda.
I'm sorry.
David,
Yes, it
we are
was a
grateful
wonderful
too to your colleague and your relative who spoke up on behalf of the library.
Mhm.
What was his name?
Richard Durr.
Richard Jerry,
Yes,
right.
Richard Jerry.
Richard got up and spoke up for us, and I
Spoke
went
up.
up to say basically, thank you. I know who he was, but we appreciate him being able to balance out that which we had gotten from the person before.
He has had Courtney's job. He's retired as administrator.
Oh.
of the
He's a
police
very
jury.
good-
Okay, so no wonder he was able to be,
And I told Kate how wonderful she was.
okay. Thank you.
And I love the fact that she gave us statistics and information, not opinion.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Facts.
Factual information.
And she stressed the fact, anyone could come in here anytime they got getting ready.
It was well reported. Was that your article?
Yes, sir.
It was a good article.
Appreciate it.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that in terms of understanding, and that's what we're all about, in terms of the more, and I said this to somebody else too, that meeting also made me aware of the fact that we have to have evidence. We just don't speak off the cuff. Okay, you have facts, data, and whatever to support the position that you're taking. So I'm bearing that in the back of my mind as we go along and through this process of trying to get the public to vote. We are, as I called, somebody used to say when I was over there, we have to be the evidence man and the evidence woman. We got to present evidence to back up everything we have. That was my comment with intake, Dr. David.
Good to hear. I was thinking this along the same lines that as we prepare for that tax renewal, it would be nice if we put together a fact sheet, not an opinion
Yes.
sheet, but a fact sheet. And then we'll be called on in different locations and districts and wards to promote the renewal, either by ourselves or with Vivian, or at least that's how it went the last time. And if we had something that could be spoken from, that would be zero opinion, but would be facts about the library and how the money is spent and the services that are provided and so forth, I think that would be a great leapfrog for us as we prepare to be ambassadors in the future.
I think that was something we talked about with
Already
Casey,
in the works.
that we are doing that in terms of coming up with that sheet,
Right.
similar to some others. Okay, all right, thank you. You're next up with the repairs.
Okay, tornado repairs, two
Well,
of
I
things
have
will
a
be.
question for here.
Yes,
Is it timely, may I?
sure.
Okay, about the Jiffy Lube. Is it for sale?
We don't know for sure exactly,
Okay, that's all I need to know then. Okay,
still up in the air.
okay, thank you.
Other tornado results are causing us to have some repair. Not just to deal with that ugly, unsightly thing next door. The EFS part of the roof tomorrow will be repaired tomorrow. Joe Banks will be here tomorrow to do that. We've not heard from Brazos, who's supposed to do the roof repair, when they're gonna be doing that. Randy Graham called me at home the night before last, and he was concerned because they've not been here as they had promised to be and give us quotes. So he was concerned about that and planned to call Jerry at the police jury and see if he could follow up and get some information. The light pole, they came to put it in, something happened and they left and we don't know why. Because they didn't bother to come in here, they only talked to Jerry at the police jury. And so we don't know the answer to that question. The sign on the left side, Randy from Main Street Designs has that sign. He will be here on tomorrow as well. He said it should be finished by noon on Friday. So that's where we're at with all the repairs.
Okay. And what part of the roof is being repaired tomorrow? Is that?
The EFS, that's the part in the front, well, it's like the piece that rises above the roof,
Okay,
that where everything came into it, broke it apart,
okay.
so it's gotta be repaired tomorrow.
Well, we were just blessed,
Yes.
basically.
Oh my God.
You know, we are still sending our prayers to say that it could have been much worse than it was. Hopefully we can get all of this lined up. And, are we working with, Jerry at the police jury?
Oh, yeah, she's been a wonder. She's done a really good job with us.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments about the repairs from anyone? Okay, next item on the agenda for the new business, bookmobile information. Well, I was the one who asked Vivian to put this one on the agenda based upon the police jury meeting. And basically, we can talk about it a little bit. And I guess part of it is, sometimes we don't always agree with people in the beginning, but sometimes we can think about it and naturally come back and revisit it. And Sandra, since you want to start off already on it, I'm gonna acquiesce and let you do it.
I just felt the bookmobile was a real wonderful thing. I know it may have been expensive maybe to keep up, I don't know all the, the problems that you all had with the bookmobile. But I know growing up, it meant a lot to me and a lot of people. It's kids especially, and especially during the summertime when some kids can't get to the library that stays out in the rural areas, and it was just a wonderful thing. And it made me want to read even more. Just the fact it was a bookmobile, that was exciting to me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what the young man said at the board history meeting. The concern was that this is a Ruston library because there are several people who live out in outlying areas that cannot get to the library. They still pay their fair share of taxes, and based upon that, his idea was for us to revisit our budget to see what we can do to kind of like compensate from them being able to get some services. Now, I would tell you that, was it the lady afterwards? I walked out of the police jury meeting, and I was just shocked. She said that somewhere here in Ruston, they cannot even pick up the internet. So even if we had services that we can do with the library, and that was one of her complaints too, basically. She said that, we don't get the services, we're so far out. So I think part of the discussion will come back, and I'm hoping to, and I know it's expensive and all that, but when you hear this coming up over and over again about not being able to, what would be the alternatives? Or can we perhaps come up with an ad hoc committee to explore this a little more, to say, what can we do? What more can we do? We're doing a lot, but what more can we do to see that the citizens who seemingly think that we're not doing enough right now for them, to come back to that thing of providing services to all of Lincoln Parish. I was shocked when he said this is a Ruston library.
I've heard that before.
Kept saying that.
Have you really? I haven't,
Yeah.
because I'm a part of it, I suppose. When I was working for Bossier Parish Library, similar situation with cost. There are things that are terribly expensive to maintain. But do you remember when the bookmobile, do you have any idea when it was?
It went away before I came here, before this building was even built.
Okay,
It went away at the old,
okay.
when it was on, Alabama. If I remember right, and this is a guesstimate, I would say about 4 years before this building was built. That's a guesstimate.
Are parishes typically now offering bookmobile, or are other parishes doing away with them?
I will tell you that I spoke with 4 libraries, the 4 closest to us. Bienville did away with their library.
You mean
Bookmobile, yeah, they have a library, don't they? And they probably have the most rural parish of any of the 3 that others I talked to. Union Parish and Jackson Parish and Washita Parish. All are reporting dwindling usage on the bookmobile. And I've heard it said at conferences that usage is going down on bookmobiles. And that's probably just another guesstimate, because most people do have cars and come into town.
Transportation's different.
And so it's different, so that's my guess.
Was any thought mentioned about what the service that we do have with the van, or the, whatever you call it?
Casey mentioned that
Outreach.
we did
Yeah.
have an outreach, van.
So how does one get use of this outreach? Do they call and sign up? Do we solicit? Do we go out?
We have done some solicitation, not as much as I would like. It is mostly by word of mouth. Now that Casey's here, she's got some plans for some more focused ads and what have you.
Good.
But it's always been a word of mouth. We service those people who can't come to the library because they're too old to drive anymore, or they're homebound because of illness, or they're disabled in some way.
I would like to see us,
things.
a concerted effort to let everybody know that service exists.
The one thing that is an issue, but I see it as a non-issue, but some people don't. We keep their library cards on the van. So, yeah, that's a norm. So you can't use both.
Okay.
Oh,
You
I
can't
see.
use both. You either have to have your library card when you come in here to utilize services, or if you've left it with us and we're using it for you there, you don't have access to it.
Does the outreach van service nursing homes or daycare
Nursing
centers?
homes, daycares, assisted living places, yes.
Do they do
All
Head
of the above.
Start?
Do they what?
Do they go to Head Start?
They do not. Head Start comes here.
Okay.
My mother received books through that at the Russ Place. For
Mhm.
years and years, she read about 2 a week,
Mhm.
and she particularly liked Janet Oakey.
Mhm.
Double G rated movie,
Indeed.
type things, but she couldn't wait for them to come and bring,
Mhm.
and they would pick the books for her, and
Mhm.
evidently had some record of what she'd already read.
Always.
But they would bring her books every, I don't know, 2 weeks
It's
or
2
whenever it
weeks.
came.
Mhm.
She enjoyed that service.
And I know it's going to, I know it's been to Dubach,
Oh,
because
yeah,
I've talked
it's
to
been to
several people older, and they have,
Sometimes we're the only people that these individuals see at all. You know.
Well, based on what we're doing now, can we expand that with this existing mobile?
We can expand it some. Mhm.
I think we need to make sure everyone knows about it.
Mhm.
Right.
put it on the fact sheet.
Yeah, it will be. Mhm.
And there's a designated outreach person in there, that the lady that drives the van and does that?
There's 2 people.
2 of them, okay.
I
There's
don't
one
like
van.
sending one person
Mhm.
into someone's home that they don't know.
Very wise.
So daycare centers request it, and they come every 2 weeks and change the books out at the daycare.
And they do story times at the daycares.
Wonderful.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Does it need to be renamed
And I didn't even know
Bookmobile so
that.
people will know what that is?
Who knows?
I'm old enough to remember the old library and the bookmobile. I remember, that they would go to areas and park, say in a church parking lot. No one would come. No one would come. And they did it over and over, and finally they just stopped. You know, in the summer, kids now have technology, they're watching TV. I don't know that they're like Sandra and I was the same way.
I was the
Bookmobile was
same
the
way.
high point of our summer.
Definitely.
But we didn't have everything the kids have so many other distractions. They're just not reading like we did. But it was the big highlight. But it's not. I wish it would still be that way. But I don't think it's because we're not trying. It's because they're not coming.
I think if you did have a bookmobile, and I put that in quotes, I don't know what you would call it nowadays, but you have so many electronic things here in the library. The bookmobile stopped in my driveway when I was coming up, and that was always an exciting thing, but it was books.
Right,
And
only
you
books.
have books, and you have CDs, and you have all kinds of things out there that I don't think you could load on a bookmobile. It'd be called some library mobile or something like that maybe, but
Not a book.
yeah,
Not a
I'm thinking
bookmobile.
you would have to
Yeah.
check with others where they had something that when it actually went to the community, it would be what they wanted, which I think would be different than what people remember as
Yes.
the bookmobile.
And another piece you mentioned, the technology and what have you, and you said there are some places that there is no internet service, and how would we be able to provide a computer on the bookmobile for them if it's not there? The hot spots and what have you right now are pretty expensive and work sporadically, from what these people are telling me.
Well, I guess my concern is to see whether or not, and I'm listening into all of this and saying, would we be able to get a few of the board members to sit down and work with Vivian to iron some of this out, to improve on what we got, to solidify? Because I think not to do anything, we will leave the naysayers out there with even more ammunition. You know, we may not be able to do it at all, period, but at least we can say that we are what? We're in the process of exploring, trying to see. And to put down there if it's cost effective or not cost effective, that will all come out as evidenced by. So, I guess Clark is asking, can we get some volunteers to do a little ad hoc committee about, I don't care if we call it Bookmobile or Mobile Plus,
Outreach.
okay, but to do something like that. Okay, I see you shaking your head, you shake your head.
I would be
says-
glad to serve on a committee like that.
Okay, who else would be, thank you, Charles, thank you. Who else? Okay, thank you, Ms. Humphries. What about you?
I think you need to stop at
Three.
three.
Okay, well, Charles, Ms. Humphries, and
And Debbie.
Debbie. Would you all come together and meet? I don't know if we wanna come back as soon as next month, or give you some time to tell us when you would like to come back and bring some things that you found and search and do some things like that, would you?
Get with
Let's
Vivian
kick
and-
this pig. It's timely, it's hot, it needs to be taken care of.
We can do it.
Charles, I'm so impressed.
About what? Kicking a pig?
How you are viewing it, yes. If some pigs get up in here, you all.
I have
Okay.
a question. Vivian, you had just stated about the only, and you said you didn't see it as a problem, so to speak, the library card that's on the, outreach van or whatever. Is it possible they could have a duplicate card of the same number in the library? No, you can't do that. Okay, cause I was thinking like some of the people that cannot get out, they may have a family member to come in the library and say, okay, I would like to get a certain item.
I've
That's
seen
not
that,
possible.
I've seen that misused too many
Okay.
times.
Okay,
Somebody else gets a hold of it and checks a bunch of
And
stuff
checks
out.
out.
And then they have materials checked out on their card, and they have no idea
And
what's
they owe.
there.
okay, okay.
So it needs to be in a place that is kept under lock and key, if you will, not
Okay, I know
necessarily,
what you're
but,
saying, okay.
uh-huh.
Is that a statistic we have today on how many use the outreach?
It is. I think there were 83 stops with 200 and something, I don't have it in front of me.
Is it,
Let me
is it
find
in
it.
this?
There it is, outreach, patron served, stops and served. Good.
Okay. Any further discussions for the Mobile? Well, thank you all for agreeing to serve on the committee, too, appreciate that. Okay, next item, the new business evaluations.
I honestly don't know, where, Ms. Dupree was going, she just asked me to put that on the agenda, so I did I did make copies of our evaluation forms. This is a self-appraisal, I'll let y'all pass these around. There's a self-appraisal form, which as a matter of fact, was given at the staff meeting this morning, beginning the evaluation process for staff. They'll begin with their form. Is that what you wanted me to know what we did? Okay.
This kind of was,
What we do, okay.
yes, ma'am.
They'll prepare their own self-evaluation form. They will turn that in to us by, the 31st of the month.
We're short one.
And say
I'm
that-
sorry. I was just trying to hang on to what, if I can borrow with you.
Did you say that again, they'll do it what?
They have 2 weeks to get that in. They need to complete their own evaluation. In other words, everybody does an evaluation of themselves. And then when that's done, they will hand that in to their supervisor. And then when the supervisor does their evaluation, what you'll see, the next form you have there is the one, there is a different one for regular employees and a different one for supervisors. The supervisors is just has another section in it for just supervisory skills. But I only gave you the one. So the supervisor then will complete this, and when they get together and do their talk, then he can look the supervisor can look at the employees' self-appraisal and they can discuss together, well, I see myself doing this, but I see you doing this.
Okay.
So we can put the two together. So that's the reason for that.
Okay.
And then for me, what you have, the last sheet, the big one, because that's for the big girl, right? This is a form that is also given to all supervisors here. Now, all of the supervisors will complete this and give it to one of you. I will never see it. The few times it's been done, I've never seen one of them. I have no idea. But that person will then give it to y'all. And you all, and they have to sign it. The first few times they did it without a signature, and it was as if there was a vendetta
Right.
Sure.
for certain things. So now they sign it, and you get a more realistic picture, I think. Then you will also do one of these, and you will find somebody among yourselves to collate these, put them together to determine if I stay or go. You know?
Are you
How often?
serious?
Y'all
That
y'all
doesn't
come
sound
up,
very
and then
professional.
that person sits down with me and goes over the total of all of it. And I don't see any forms.
I don't disagree with the idea of anybody being appraised, but what you said, I think, is out of line.
I was teasing.
Yeah, oh, okay, good, because after all, you are a professional.
Oh, there are some days I wonder
So
about
I was
that.
just really on target today, isn't it?
Vivian, how often are these done?
It's been about 5 years. That's why we decided it was time this year to do one. We haven't done one in a while. So that's why we began the process this morning.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Well, that's perfect
so
timing.
it was perfect timing when you emailed me a couple of days ago, and I had all the forms on my desk. I said, "What is she? How does she know I got these?"
Let me look around.
So how would these come together then, as a consensus on the board?
One of the reasons that I have not really cared about doing them is I didn't see that it would do much good. I know the reasons for doing an appraisal system, but I haven't seen that it's done a whole lot of good. I don't feel like they're much use to us if they can't be tied to merit raises. And since we can't do, or nobody's ever allowed us to do merit raises, I haven't seen the need in that. Because generally, we kind of do this along as the year progresses. If there's a problem, we go ahead and address it when we know about it, not
Do you feel as
waiting until
though
the end of the year.
there's issues day to day that we ever miss, that none on the board ever knows about, that this would be helpful? It seems to me we get involved in a lot of things and a lot of discussions, one-on-one or from outsiders that we carry to you. Do you think are we missing anything, you think? Do you feel like we're missing anything?
Not really. Most of you tell me if you think, and most of the board from the time I came in 05 has been vocal. If they see something I do or don't do, most people do say that. So, it's kind of up to y'all.
Well, I disagree.
I like the idea of having one on occasion. I don't want to do it on a yearly basis, but
Well, I disagree, Vivian. In organizations, you always have purposes for understanding. And you do this sometimes to avoid things in the future. For example,
that's true.
how can I say this tactfully? When things come up all of a sudden, and you need to know, and you understand basically where I'm coming from, you need to have had,
Some
We
documentation.
need to already know
you
about it.
have to be able to.
Yeah.
And that will save you from lawsuits.
But there's no guarantee any of that would be a part of this,
Not necessarily, but it might be, Charles, still.
might? might
Well, I
not.
see
And that's what we
So-
have to be able to.
The whole process of this in educational circles is to provide professional development in weak areas. So
Exactly.
if you
Right.
see a common thread of something that would make your library stronger,
Better.
Yeah.
then you can provide professional development for it. But I agree with the documentation too, because if you have an employee that is not
It's
doing
on
well,
paper.
and you document it and you write it up and they just blow it off and do the same thing the next year, then it's a lot
Then you
easier.
definitely do have documentation.
You can have a stronger discussion with them.
Are
based
you
on
talking
that.
about overall and everybody, or is this one directly for the director?
Not for the director.
Okay, I mean,
That's the
For
sheet
the
here.
employee.
Well,
That's what I was,
but
this
I'm-
is what I was talking about.
I'm talking about for the individual
The
people
employee
out there,
performance.
the employees.
But
That
I think
agree
it
with.
should be overall,
I do too,
basically,
because if you're
because
gonna
we
do it
cannot
for,
just signal just the staff persons out there. And I don't know Vivian's comment earlier today, where Charles jumped on that one, but it's just to make sure that we are fair, a litmus test being fair, and being on a regular basis.
well,
I
I
guess
do
I come
agree,
back
if
from
you're,
that.
if I'm gonna evaluate my staff, then I think it's only fair that you evaluate me.
That's right.
I
agree with
agree
you.
wholeheartedly with
I
that.
agree with you.
And I want to say this, I don't know how many of you have had a chance to shadow,
To what?
to shadow
Oh, yeah.
the employees. I had that, I shadowed last week,
Good.
the week before, at circulation desk.
Mm.
They were so wonderful. They were so wonderful. The gentleman was doing scheduling on his, when he wasn't busy with patrons, coming in. But for instance, one patron came in, and I think he was maybe special needs. He was so loud, but they were so patient and so nice to him, and he was just grinning and so excited. And I just thought that was so wonderful. And then I went in the back for a little while and talked to a few of the other employees, and they said, they thanked me. They said, no one has ever on a trustee thought anything about us. Thank you so much for shadowing us, looking over us. I said, I'm not here to, talk bad or anything. I just want to see just what you do, and if I can help in any way, I will. But they just thought that was just so wonderful that we care enough to take time with them. So if you haven't gotten a chance to do that, I think it's a wonderful thing.
Yes, I shattered too as well. And you'd be surprised to know how much something like that, just a small little thing, and I wrote him a little thank you note saying thank you for letting me see what you do. And I encourage all of the board members, if only spend 1 hour with somebody to see what it is that they have to go through and this would help as well too for what we're talking about for evaluations. I think they do a good job, me myself. They're always there, willing to help, willing to do and go bend over backwards and do some extra kinds of things too. But it's a thing about us trying to make sure that everything is above board and in line with just in case. Okay, other comments? So when do we start the evaluation? Yeah, what? Maybe I should ask, basically, if the feeling is the board that we should do evaluations.
I support evaluations.
Okay,
I think that we should do it, since the staff is doing them this year, I think you should, all the way through.
okay. Do we need to put that in the form of a motion? Or are we just satisfied with everybody in agreement in terms of doing it? I'm just taking a temperature reading now, you all.
Well, it was my assumption that Vivian said you started it today.
Yeah, I started it today, so I already knew that we were
Oh,
doing
okay.
it for.
We don't,
Okay,
we're already
okay,
in
okay.
progress.
So when do we do you, Vivian? And we said that basically for them and for you too,
Probably around October.
October.
That gives the staff time to get finished with their part. And then
Okay.
to hand it in to you guys. It may be the end of September board meeting, or somewhere between mid to late September to mid-October.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments about that? All right, then we're down to other business.
The Northeast Louisiana Trustee Association meeting is September. I don't know if y'all have received your invitation yet.
Yes.
I haven't.
Okay. You should get yours soon. Well, I sent
Came
that.
last week.
Well, wait a minute, I got in last night, it may be in the stack.
Just go through your mail.
Yeah, where is the meeting?
It is gonna be in Tensaw Parish at St. Joseph, at 9 o'clock on the 27th. So I need somebody to go. I will be out of town.
What is the date?
The 27th.
It's at 10:15, the luncheon is at noon. I'm gonna be out of town, I'm gonna be at my class reunion, or I would go. I've been before, it's lovely, it's a really good thing to go to.
Isn't it at 9 o'clock?
Yes.
Start at 9.
10:15?
9:30.
Oh, breakfast is at 9, I'm
Breakfast
sorry.
is at
The
9
meeting
o'clock.
is at 10:15,
Okay.
at 9, breakfast, and lunch at 12, it's like half a day of
I'll
stuff.
check my calendar.
Anyone else may be interested? I'm not gonna be able to go, so.
Okay.
And it's a good
If
opportunity
you
for
can
you
go,
to meet
please
with
let me
others.
know, cause we need a voting member
And it's in,
in St. Joe.
how far is that away, 2 hours?
At least, I'm not sure exactly, but at least
Well, I never said.
Kind of south of Tallulah.
South of what?
southwest of
Tallulah.
Tallulah.
Tallulah's an hour now.
Well, it's south,
yeah,
it's toward the river.
Wow.
Right.
Toward
I'll check, I
Tallulah.
don't know of anything, but I didn't bring my calendar, it's in the car.
Okay.
Did
Can you
I
let me
enjoy the
know
last one?
tomorrow so I can let them
If I
know?
don't,
I'll call you.
You could say it's south.
what day of the week is that?
South of Man.
Friday.
It's probably close.
Very likely don't have anything.
They have some good meetings.
I like them, I enjoyed it, I didn't know what was going on the first time I went.
You have to vote.
At the vote, over at the paddle, and it was a good meal too.
It was an excellent meal.
Well, you might be interested to know that the year that you went, you questioned
I did
the
good.
insurance.
I did good.
They have
They
done
didn't like
some
it.
no,
No, they were embarrassed by it.
they did some research on that and have gotten a cheaper insurance.
Well, they were just, it was an awkward moment.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know the answer, and I was just simply asking
Mhm.
what appeared to be obvious, so.
You'll go down there and get in jail. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Caleb. Stop it.
Okay.
I believe in kicking the pig.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse
Others?
you all, I have
That's
another
it.
engagement.
That's the only other business that I have.
What about the garage sale this Saturday?
Well, that's part of my upcoming
Oh,
program.
okay.
In the statistics, you'll notice that we've had like almost 27,000 patrons in the month of July, which is the hot summer month that we generally get a lot less than we do in June. So it's interesting to me that we still had almost 27,000 people. I don't remember the exact number, I don't have it in front of me. Business as usual, it looks to me like. Everything looks really good on those statistics.
You know, there's so much, maybe I can't judge that. You so erase that. There is an attitude among a lot of people that the library is of no value anymore because we have computers, which is not true, but that's a lot of the thought. What a number, 26,000,
Look at the month
35,000?
before that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 5,000.
Mhm.
I don't think we are doing well telling about ourselves.
right.
I think
I
we
agree.
need to let people know what a dynamic place this is for all Parish. And I was thinking driving up here this morning, we don't have every book in the world.
No.
But when I have something like that need today, I can go and they'll get it for me
In the
if it's
library.
out there.
Do
So-
we have a way that we, like, to follow up with what you're saying? I know you can't check everybody that comes in, but District 3, District 4, Dubach District 4, Shudrint District 5, how many people of this 26,000 are from outside
We tried to
Ruston?
do that before, but we didn't have a way to collect that.
Do you
I
have
was
their
interested
library
in the
card
same
address? Do you not?
Not all of them come you give us
I
their
know,
card,
but
yeah.
if you had library card addresses and every time they check out a book or log onto the computer or whatever, you would know whether they come from different districts, and it would just be a way to gather data, a point of data, so to speak, for a fact sheet.
Our system does not
Do it.
collect that kind of data.
We had wanted that, because I asked the same question. How do we know who and where are using?
It seems like a simple thing that could
It
be
does seem
added
like
to a database.
Well, it's
Well,
numbers
it
from
would
the
be there each
circulation
time
desk.
it's used,
Yeah.
each time that card is used.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
you've gotta follow that person and go back in and pull that data out.
Well, I'm saying the computer, why can't we have the computer
Simply by
that
zip
once they
code?
beep their library card, it goes to their address, and a simple little program added to our software would tally these things, and every month on your statistics, you could have Ward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's the numbers.
That would be neat.
I don't know if it would be that expensive to have somebody come and add that to our software program, but it just seems like useful in this day and time when people say the library is not used by the outside. If we could have some data to show, it would either help us work harder
To
to
get,
achieve the outside, or it would help us show that we are indeed servicing the whole parish that pays taxes.
And I think, David, it would be very interesting to know who's using the computers,
Yeah.
if we could sort it
Mhm.
like that. And I think, again, you're asking for a
Is there
simple
any way we
sort.
could have somebody to look at our program?
Do we
and
have a
see?
programmer anymore?
No, we don't have a programmer, no.
But you see, when they,
But
when
I
they
do
do
see
that
what you're
card,
saying.
it's part of your database, is that
Mhm.
person, my card, for instance, my name, address, and all that. So every time I use my card, it goes into the database for some little something that could be added, a tally piece, and then at the end, you just press a button each month, and you know exactly which piece of the parish has been enjoying the library.
I will see what I can find
I
out.
think
It may be cost prohibitive, but
I
it
don't-
seems
I don't know,
like
but I
it
can
would be a
find
good
out.
way to go.
it's information that's there, it shouldn't be. But Shudron has a separate zip code, Ruston,
All of them have every
and all of them
window.
separate. So maybe it's as simple as sorting by zip code initially to see if that provides the information. And we might be surprised, we might say, wow, we're not,
yeah.
Yeah, it
We're not
would be
doing
helpful
those.
to us in 2 ways.
yeah. So if possible, who would you have to talk to, Vivian?
I'm
Our
gonna start
service?
with, I'm gonna start with, Casey for sure, but I'm gonna start with our automation software.
Good.
You have a person that could,
Mm-hmm,
okay. Let's carry that forward if you don't mind, once again, and
mm-hmm.
I
And I
think it
could
would be-
probably speak with Tracy, at the parish with the GIS system, and he might can give me some ideas.
good point, yeah.
It's gonna change next year too.
I'm sorry?
It'll change census next year.
Mm-hmm.
So just, it might be a good time to do it, like, in the census change. I wouldn't necessarily do a whole bunch of labor intensive stuff right now, because everything's gonna change next year, after next year, so.
Because all of a sudden I'm thinking, who's the van serving?
Mhm.
They're out there. Let's talk about it if you don't mind. I'll be on that committee.
Yeah, we're on that committee.
Oh, you're volunteering for that?
You are the.
You're already on that, Reach. You already signed up.
Well, it would be, this would be a little bit different. But I agree, in our telling our story, again, numbers are good. They either might prove our theory or disprove, but either way we would know.
I was thinking about that too, Charles.
It might bite us in the you know
That's,
what.
that's exactly what I'm thinking
However,
about.
that
But it
means
will be
it's
there.
something for us to.
It will be
approve.
there.
Yeah,
The facts don't lie.
and we
It's just what
have
it
made
is.
the effort and we'll learn from it, I
See
think.
what we can do.
What
Are
do
you
you
in
make-
favor, Vivian?
So you just make sure that committee.
Now, what would he have said if I'd have said no?
I would have said, okay, you know how I trust you. I'd say, okay, now where's that blank on that form?
That's right, I would go on with the evaluation.
Last word to the ones who went down. Okay.
Garage sale is this Saturday,
Mm.
so come in and buy some stuff. Friends book sale is going to be the 13th, 14th, 15th. And Friends need some help.
Yep.
So, everybody in here needs to sign up for 2 or 3 hours to
Is the
help
book
out.
sale, again, this is again, trends we're talking about. Does that work well every year?
Yes.
Oh, yes, very, very consistent.
Because, Centenary has that really big, they work on it all year.
People come in asking
And
us every
people line
month,
up
every
for
week,
that.
what, yeah. There'll be lots of folks in there, trust me, yeah.
Well,
We
sign up to
need
volunteer and also
Yeah.
sign up to be a member, because they need your $10.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to
And
More
say.
we don't have-
importantly, we need your
We
body.
don't have contact information, that's one of the biggest problems right now. We've lost the database of the Friends, and very few people have been updating their dues, cause even, I don't know about y'all, but like I paid $10 years ago, and I was like, is that annual or what? And so now, we're gonna try to say, like at the beginning of fall, at the start of school, you renew your Friends membership, and Friends need to help with that book sale. It is long, it is lots and lots of transactions, and we need people just come for a couple hours and sit there and help, so that would be great.
You go so far back, that was lifetime membership.
Oh, was that what it was? That's what it was, probably so.
Did you design this?
No, this is Jeremy.
Nicely done.
He's doing some, what am I trying to say, posters to put up to encourage people to sign up and, that kind of thing, promote the garage sale and the book sale, so.
Well, the one that's right in the front looks nice.
Mm-hmm,
And we into the library, that caught my attention today.
yeah.
Don't forget the election meet and greets. Casey
Is
put a
this-
little thing in your,
Is this different from what I thought it was? It's now divided by
It's 3 different nights, right?
the offices that are being
No,
filled?
More than 3.
Yes.
Because I thought it was just one meeting.
Oh.
it started out just being the sheriffs, and that's all that we were doing. But, and the library was doing that program. But we got the Attorney General's opinion that kept us from doing it. We can't do that here.
Can't do that?
No, because you have those people who come in and think that you're spending taxpayer money
To support.
to
one.
support one or the other,
Good
so,
grief.
anyway, you can't do that. But the Daily Leader and the Origin Bank and Uptown Downtown are sponsoring this, they're putting it together, they're paying us for the use of the event center, so it is not our program, we're just here
So
and we're
we're
helping
just-
to,
The building.
yeah.
Do you know if there's gonna be narrators though, that are?
There will be a sort of a moderator.
Moderator,
It's not a debate. It's not gonna be somebody standing up and giving their platform. But they will introduce themselves and have like a 1-minute time, just an elevator speech. And then just basically to meet and greet and there will be some questions. The audience can ask questions. Questions will be, this is not written in stone as far as I know. I'm not sure exactly how they're gonna do that yet, but I heard them saying that they were gonna have the questions asked at a table. The questions would be written down and handed in, so that they wouldn't be duplicate questions
Yeah.
all over the place. So, but I think it will be beneficial to find out some differences in the
So who's paying the
candidates.
building?
I'm sorry?
Who's paying for the building?
It's weird.
The Daily
It's-
Leader
it's
and
the
Origin Bank.
16th, 17th.
But I don't see the Uptown Bakery. up there.
That is an old ad, there's a new ad that's coming,
Okay.
that has come out. Cody called me earlier today and said that it now has the Uptown Downtown.
But we couldn't even
Logo on
offer
it.
the space. It has to be paid for.
It has to be paid for. We
Well,
couldn't give
why
the
would we wanna
space.
offer it?
Why wouldn't we? It's
Why
a-
would we?
Why would we? Because it's a parish-wide event, open
No,
to everybody.
no, but basically,
I'm
okay,
just, it's done.
I'm just saying basic.
It's done.
I know, but I'm saying, but why would we do that? And I'm so glad that we've discussed that it's not sponsored by the library.
Yeah.
But it's-
Okay, you gotta be very careful.
Still a parish-wide event.
We didn't mind paying for it.
Do what?
We didn't mind paying for it.
Oh, I think it's great.
And actually,
Wonderful, we could use the money, but it's a shame.
and actually
we
we
could not
bartered and
actually
we're not,
offer it.
I'm not gonna have cash for it, it's bartered, we're gonna take it out in ads.
That's
That's
right.
even better.
Well,
great.
we
I like
couldn't
that.
afford to pay for ads, so this is a way to do
That's
it.
Well, that's
I
all
like
right,
it. That's a good
because we
idea.
don't want
Payment
to
in kind.
think that,
That's good.
you know, Joe Blow has to pay too, so.
We do have a Facebook event page out for it if y'all want to go on there and share that, spread it around to let people know. It's got all the dates on it and some information. Just go to our Facebook page and go on events. And we
Okay.
have,
And it's not on our Facebook page, it's on their Facebook
Okay.
page.
Good. You heard that, Charles? It's on theirs. All
And
right.
if you guys need, if you just wanna go out with your honey, or you want a date night, or if you wanna go out with not your honey, and you wanna make a new honey, you want a date night, we're on the 21st of September, we're having an in and out movie. We wanted to do an outside movie, but it requires a great deal of money and an FM something or other, I don't know the whole 9 yards. Well, we couldn't do it. So we decided we have a huge room over there. So we've got an outside screen put up, so you can come in with your blanket, and lay down on the floor and watch TV. And we're having a great romantic movie called Grease.
Oh my God.
So and we're babysitting your kids at the same time.
Oh, that's
They're
neat.
having their own movie,
Wow.
and we're making cars out of cardboard boxes so they can sit in their car and watch
That's
their
right,
movie.
How cute is that?
So-
That's great.
You're too
That's
young
gonna
to
be
remember
on the
that.
I commend you
21st.
for that.
So I'm gonna try to be not here.
Right.
No, that's not true. I really am out of town, but that's not the reason for it. My out of town begins the first day of September, and I'm gone that first week into Vermont for the Association of Rural and Small Libraries.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
And then I will be gone from the 21st, which is the In and Out movie day, till the 27th. That's the Performing Arts Exchange.
Okay, that
No.
sounds good.
No?
No,
Oh,
Sounds great.
I don't like Orlando.
okay.
Oh.
It's hot,
Oh, okay.
but I'll be inside most
This
of
is
the
a
time.
good idea. I like this idea.
Isn't it fun? Doesn't it sound like a lot of fun?
Sounds good.
Other upcoming programs, Sylvia?
That was it
That was it?
for the
Been
moment.
able to get anything back from the Crawdads author?
Yeah, Delia.
Yes, I did.
Oh no, don't tell me she's not coming.
Oh.
She said she was coming.
She said she was coming, but her publicist says she's not.
Oh.
Wow.
So I'm
Sounded like
gonna.
that was gonna be major.
I'm not through talking yet.
It would mean so much.
I'm not through.
Okay.
It was really good book.
She, Mary Jo just finished it too.
But you know, it was so good. Don't you hate to read a book that good? And
Yes,
then you're gonna read
everything
10 more waiting for one that's that good.
That's right
again.
where I am right now. Like, oh, nothing. Oh my God.
So we're incomplete still, is what you're saying?
It would be
Incomplete.
huge. if
She
we
told
came.
us she would be here, she would come. So I'm gonna write the publicist back, and I'm gonna say, look, we're the ones that drove 9 hours to see her, and she said,
Mhm.
so find a way to piggyback us into one of these trips.
Somewhere, is she coming?
We'd have people from all over coming to hear her,
Is that
meet
coming?
her.
It makes a big
Big
difference.
difference.
Mhm. Yeah, so I don't know, she's, so many national tours right now for her, because that book just went
Hit a
gangbusters.
nerve.
They
Yeah.
talked about it on television the other morning,
Mhm.
on the V.
Oh my gosh.
Megan.
Mhm. I didn't know that.
Changing that subject, has anyone seen The Art of Racing in the Rain?
Mm-mm.
I
You
heard,
Have you read
Recommend
the
it?
book?
I did not read it.
Oh,
Believe it or
please
not.
read it.
is this something I would
I want
enjoy?
everybody I know to read that book.
Okay.
I don't know about the movie. I haven't seen the movie.
I had a friend who texted me this week and said it was wonderful. that
The
it was
book
one that
is-
she would now own.
The book is great.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you, Charles. You're really doing well tonight.
And you know, I have read that book you recommended, but I won't mention the title.
Y'all are so bad.
No words, that's it. I move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Probably move. And adjourn.
She didn't